Hi there, hope you're well. In this video we pick up again with my last ever commercial wardrobe build. If you caught part 4 and if you didn't, there's a link down below. If you did, then you'll know that this is a warts and all build, and I ended the last video on a particularly low point. It was an immensely frustrating time and I was a little bit under the weather back then as well, but we're picking it up where we left off, and believe me, it does get better fast. So that's a fairly solid few hours work. Everything's primed, both sides on everything, edges done twice, all looking great. Except I'm going to have to finish this job off with my cheap little Terratech sprayer, because the Graco's just died again. It takes stop spraying with it and it takes a little while to settle down, that's okay. Then it sprays for a bit and then it starts getting sort of spitty and lumpy. And then when it comes to clean it, it won't pass water, it's not viscous enough. Which is a sure sign that the pump's gone. I mean, I must have put, I doubt that I've put 20 litres through it. 30, 50, you know, nowhere near that much since I had the pump changed last. Because I just haven't been doing this kind of work. So, not impressed with this, but the little Terratech works okay. I've dug that out, dusted it off a little bit, and it seems to be spraying okay. But it's just a real headache, because now I've got to thin all the paint down and get it's just more stuff to have to do. Anyway, got to be done. Glad I've got it. More on this tomorrow. There is genuinely no logic to this. Today the Graco is working absolutely perfectly. Madness. So as frustrating as it was the day before, with the Graco back in action I could press on with the painting and have everything completed over the course of the weekend. Then it was time to strip out the spray booth and turn that room back into a workshop again. Okay, so the main problem we have now, of course, is that I can't put this stuff away, because where it lives it's all full of painted panels, so I've got to leave those to dry fully before I can move them. Then I can get at least the spray boothy thing away. Sorry, I'm halfway between collar balances there. But yes, back to it tomorrow, and we'll start nailing some stuff together. So a bit of concerted effort. Painting and spraying, pretty much everything that I could to paint, but most of it did manage to go on the wardrobe components, so they're all pretty much ready to go. One thing I do when I've got bigger doors like this is I don't bother to try and do the bottom edge of the doors. With smaller doors you can sort of suspend them and do all the edges, but with bigger doors like this, they still need to sit on something while they dry. So what I do is I just rack them up once they're fully painted and just roller the bottom edge quickly, because it's easy to do. And what I found works really well are these little 2-inch 50mm rollers. Because again, if you use a bigger roller, it tends to sort of wrap itself around the edges slightly, and you tend to get a bit of paint on the faces, whereas these you can actually keep them sort of fairly contained. So that's a handy thing to have. So I've just primed those quickly. They'll get a couple of coats of paint on the edges of those before we start shipping everything over. And then the rest of the day today, obviously I can't build the double wardrobe carcass because we never get it upstairs. I can certainly build the small single unit, and I want to try and get the angled unit done as well. I'm scuffing the paintwork along the glue lines to give the adhesive a fighting chance. Then assembling the carcass with my usual dominoes, glue and screws. And yes, thank you for noticing that I painted both sides of the top and base. No wasted effort there then. Now, one trick I have learned from Mrs. 10 Minutes' time in the clothing industry is that when I have finished panels, painted like here or veneered, is to count out the number of screws I need and always account for them, so that if I drop one, I don't just grab another one from the box. I need to find it again before I move anything. This means that I'm not accidentally dragging a finished piece across a dropped screw. The clothing industry does this with sewing machine needles, and if a machinist breaks a needle, then all the individual pieces of that needle have to be accounted for before it can be replaced, because obviously you can't risk leaving needle shrapnel in a garment. It's good practice on an install too. If you're working on a hardwood floor, say, you don't want loose screws lying around. I've put clean boards down and turned the carcass over on its painted edges so that I can fit the back. All these carcasses will be fitted in alcoves, so the backs can just be planted on like this. No need to rebate them, they're simply stapled in place around the edges and into the fixed centre shelf. Okay, so that's the fairly straightforward one out of the way. Good to get your hand in on something simple. So next up is the slightly more challenging angled one, and I'm going to have to build this in sort of different stages. Get the long side in, and the base and the top in, and then flip it on its back. Is there a fixed shelf in this? I can't remember. Anyway, well, it'll come together as it comes together. So yes, let's start that now. That's the one. I might dry fit this. It's making my head spin already. I don't normally dry fit, but this is one I don't want to mess up, and the combination of dominoes and Climax fittings makes it easy to do, and undo, of course. That works, or that still works. That's fine. Once again, I'm scuffing up the paintwork at the glue lines. Then it's business as usual with dominoes and plenty of glue. and then a few screws just for good measure. I'm still using my standard Spax M-Cut 4x40mm MDF screws, as I've yet to find anything better. I know some folks swear by Conformat screws, and I found them to be particularly good in MFC, but for MDF I just prefer Spax. And with everything glued and screwed, I can fit the back. Again, this is simply planted on and stapled in place as before. So, story so far, the tricky angle cabinet has gone together okay, no major dramas or crises. A few little things to play with still, but it's all kind of manageable. I'm in two minds about the fixed shelves. The adjustable shelves are going in fine, they're great, no problem at all. But the fixed shelves, it occurred to me that when I butt two carcasses together, you just sort of clamp them up and screw them together, and that pulls everything nice and tight and square. If this left-hand one is at all bowed and I put the fixed shelves in, that's not going to budge at all. So it's got to be absolutely straight and true. I've got a clamp, a straight edge clamped against it, which is actually doing a decent job. But it occurs to me as well that the clients may prefer to have removable shelves further up. Certainly the top one, it's such a skinny shelf, it's such a tiny little space at the top, I'm not sure what they're going to use it for. So they might want that to be removable. So it's all kind of in two minds about it. But I'm going to fiddle with this for a little bit longer, but then we're rapidly getting to the stage where I just need to start getting everything wrapped up, because it's all getting shipped out to site mid-morning tomorrow. I'm arriving on site almost a day early. So the install should be or could be fairly relaxed, but yeah, we'll whisper that quietly between ourselves for now. But that's where we are. I'm going to fiddle with these shelves a little bit more, see what I can decide, and then we just need to get everything wrapped up and ready to ship. All good stuff. And we'll leave it there for this one. Thanks for watching. Be sure to join me next time when I'll be on site and ready to start the install. I hope you enjoyed this video, at least more than the last one. And if you did, then give the video a thumbs up, share it freely, and do consider subscribing for more regular workshop videos. Or come and join the Patreon party at patreon.com/10minute workshop for additional exclusive content or behind the scenes videos. And I'd like to thank all the folks who do just that, as their contributions really do help me to keep the lights on here and make it possible for me to make regular, freely available content like this for the 10 Minute Workshop channel. That really is it for this week though. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.